Hi class, Mr. Groves here. I'm going for a nice hike here at Woodland Park in the foothills of Tryon, North Carolina. Check out this babbling brook here. So quiet, so peaceful, so pretty. You can really hear yourself think while you're out here. This is one of actually many parks out here in western North Carolina where it's known for its beautiful Appalachian mountains, big houses. There's also plenty of Civil War and American Revolution action as well. And on top of that, plenty of cool major points that have been seen in many movies, ranging from The Last of the Mohicans to The Hunger Games. And there's plenty more where that came from. I can't wait to tell you more about it. Nothing beats a relaxing hike on a nature trail. A cool, beautiful morning like this can inspire you to stick around western North Carolina, at least for a little while. Let's take a look at the rest of the geography that included some challenges for travelers in those days. The Appalachian Mountains take up most of what is western North Carolina. The rising mists out here have led to nicknames like Blue Ridge or Smoky Mountains. The Blue Ridge Mountains sit between the mountains regions of the Tar Heel State. The Eastern Continental Divide actually rests on the Blue Ridge Mountains, essentially splitting up what direction the rivers flow in that area. Depending on the side, the rivers either connect with the Atlantic Ocean or the Gulf of Mexico. Speaking of waterways, dozens of rivers and creeks make up that region. Several include the French Broad River, the Nantahala River, and Watauga River. Major lakes include Fontana Lake, which features the famous Fontana Dam that generated hydroelectric power starting in World War II. It's not the Hoover Dam, but in terms of height, it's awfully darn close. Other lakes include the Hiawassee Lake and Lake James. And how about climate? When I was sitting outside writing this story, I felt like I was enjoying cool springtime temperatures instead of the expected hot and humid of July and August. Let's compare North Carolina temperatures statewide. Boone, for instance, had the lowest July average of 79, while Kinston, which is in the coastal plain, owned a steamy July average of 91. Wow! I may want to consider renting a house in the mountains during the summer. However, I may take the coast during the wintertime. How you doing, Wilmington? A low slightly higher than Kinston, and the snow doesn't stick. Works for me. Now, back to travel. Stagecoaches were your best option for travel in the 1700s, unless you're this one. Imagine a time without paved roads, four-wheel drive, or AAA. What? No towing? Instead, imagine muddy roads, bumpy mountain trails, and no guarantee for survival out here. Period. Now, does anybody remember the song, "She'll Be Coming Around the Mountain"? What about that line, "when she comes"? Now, I'd imagine back in those days, people really didn't have a clue as to when she would come. North Carolina didn't realize the importance of advanced transportation until the 1850s. Populations grew as soon as railroads allowed people access out west, including some very rich people like George W. Vanderbilt, who thought the mountains were charming. Thanks to this Vanderbilt, he built, get it, one of the largest private residences in America, the Biltmore Mansion. In the 1890s, the dream of indoor plumbing and indoor swimming was achieved. No, I'm serious. That's what happened. Plus, a charming and handsome young man proposed to his dream girl there. Aw, isn't that sweet? Anyway, thanks to railroads and prominent businessmen, cities like Asheville and western NC could grow. Nowadays, the Blue Ridge Parkway and Interstate 26, among others, make mountain travel for flatland drivers like me a whole lot easier. A couple of notable industries that have put this region on the map involve gold and Christmas trees. Gold was first found outside Charlotte, and you can watch my North Carolina Gold Rush video for more on that story. Nowadays, though, people statewide can purchase Christmas trees from western North Carolina. Or, if you're up for a weekend trip, pick one from the source. The tallest mountain in the eastern United States, Mount Mitchell, rests in this region. Hikers of all skill sets enjoy the 6,000 plus feet of this mountain while being advised of its rough terrain and frosty temperatures as they try to reach the top. Plenty of other state and national parks make up this beautiful region. My wife and I have visited the following: Big Glassy Mountain, which is attached to legendary poet Carl Sandburg's home in Flat Rock. The trail is challenging, but fun. Sandburg spent the last years of his life out here after making a name for himself in Illinois. DuPont State Forest in Brevard, which is outside Asheville. The trails are decent and home to breathtaking waterfalls. Check out this one. Scenes of the Hunger Games were filmed here. I guess when you're running for your life, you don't have time to go ooh and ah at such nature around you. Let's not forget the classics like Chimney Rock State Park in Rutherford County. Once privately owned, the state operates this more structured hiking trail, but I still reached the top. Side note, The Last of the Mohicans was filmed here. Nearby Lake Lure is also famous in Hollywood for the 1987 classic Dirty Dancing. I'd imagine that the late Patrick Swayze had the time of his life in this North Carolina hotspot. Horseback riding is a major part of this culture too, and you can experience this at the most competitive level at the Tryon International Equestrian Center. In fact, riders from all over the world come to North Carolina to show they're the best. Alright, I'm not going to lie to you. I love a good montage. With that being said, check out some other awesome places in the North Carolina mountains. In tune to some fun mountain music. Before we hit the finish line, I want to point out some key battles that took place in these mountains. Just around the North-South Carolina line was the Battle of Kings Mountain. In October 1780, during the American Revolution, the British tried to close off the southern colonies in hopes of a surrender. The Over-Mountain men won easily, setting the stage for British surrender in Yorktown, Virginia, less than a year later. Fast forward 80 years or so to the American Civil War, and there's tons of connections. The Confederacy, with then Governor Zebulon Vance, who was born near Asheville. Toward the end of the war, the Union Army, led by General George Stoneman, what a name, Stoneman, destroyed Confederate homes in Asheville and nearby communities. This was called Stoneman's Raid. Well, as you can tell, I've had a little bit of a workout going on this hike, but it's been a lot of fun. I feel like the explorer in me came out just a little bit. We were hoping to find some gold, but nothing doing today at least. Hope y'all enjoyed this episode. As always, work hard, study hard, and take care, everybody.